Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on a Friday morning from our Clare Court set in Saratoga. If you weren't tuned in earlier, it was a little funky here after the races yesterday with just a crazy storm. It was a freakish kind of short. I said I left the track, and when I left sunny and drove home sunny and really no weather. But then an hour later, Dave Brendick was up in the press box and tweeted out hail and rain and whatnot. So that leads to this afternoon. The stakes race stays on the grass. The other grass races go off. But I will say, if you're thinking about coming up today, things have kind of dried out nicely. There's still some around our set, some branches down and whatnot. But it's a little bit overcast, but temperature's comfortable. And again, it should be a nice afternoon. So if you're coming up, make your plans and continue, because right now it's a perfectly nice day. All right, a little bit later on the show, we'll be joined by Howard Kravets and one of his HHH Racing Podcast colleagues. Howard has the HHH Racing Podcast, which I've talked about a number of times and had Howard on. Great racing content you can catch on YouTube. We'll talk about that with Howard and get some ideas over the next couple of days here at Saratoga. A little bit later on, Rick Schosberg will join us, New York Thoroughbred Horsemen Association. He's the chairman of the aftercare section there, and we do have the aftercare day coming up here at the track next Thursday, and aftercare has become such an important issue over the past few years. Thought we'd get Rick in and just pump up next week's day, and a day that really focuses on an important issue in the horse racing game. So that's all coming up a little bit later on. But we're going to kick things off with another New York Thoroughbred Horsemen Association board member, our friend Dan Collins from Bona Venture Stables. I say all the time when Dan comes in, named after his alma mater, St. Bonaventure. My brother, my late brother, was a Bonaventure graduate, so I'm automatically a fan. But I'm also a fan because a lot of locals that I'm friends with are Bonaventure members as well. So always fun to root for the Bonaventure stable runners, and always fun to talk to Dan Collins. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Well, thank you. It is going to be a nice day, so people should come and
absolutely
spend some time with us today.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I wanted you in, you have a horse in today, you have a horse in Sunday. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. But again, you're a NYTHA board member. I got Rick Schosberg coming up a little bit later on, and I know you guys have a board meeting coming up, and I'll just let you expound on it a little bit before we get Rick in here. Aftercare has become such an important issue, and I think NYTHA has kind of put it in the right perspective, kind of put it out in the forefront.
It really is a critical issue. Taking care of these athletes after their time on the track is done. And Rick does a fantastic job of it. He set up a program, Act 2, so that we're working with dozens of aftercare thoroughbred horse farms, retraining for other careers, and it's really important. And at Bonaventure Stables, we follow the NYTHA protocols in that when we buy a horse and we syndicate it with the partners, we ask the partners, we tell them that when the horse retires, we are going to find this horse a safe, long-term home, and if that means that we've got to still keep paying farm bills until we find him, he or she, a home, we'll do so, and all our partners subscribe to that.
That is great. So yeah, an aftercare day comes up next week, which will allow us to raise a little bit of awareness for all the fans as well. It's become kind of an annual event. Much appreciated.
One of the things I would point out is that in the last several years, I think the last half a dozen years, we found homes for more than 1,000 retired thoroughbreds. So it's a really great program. Yeah,
and it's become something at the forefront of the industry as a whole over that time period, going back 5-10 years. It's become more and more important, and NYTHA's done a great job. Again, we'll talk a little bit more with Rick about that in a while. But when we get you here, I always like to get a little background. You're tied in locally to your horse racing background, right? People may have seen your work earlier.
Yes. I began my career a long time ago here in Saratoga Springs as a reporter at the Saratogian. And one day the sports editor was ill and couldn't come to work. And they asked around the newsroom, was there anybody that knew anything about horses? Because they needed somebody to cover the races that day. I was a 19-year-old kid. I raised my hand and I said, I do. That was the first white lie I gave in the news industry. And the next thing I know is I was at Saratoga covering the races that day, and I got the bug.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love that. What was the impetus for firing up Bona Venture Stables?
Well, we started Bona Venture Stables 20 years ago. I had been involved in a number of other partnerships before, and we found that as the other partnerships that we were in, my wife and I, that the partnerships were getting more and more successful and the costs were rising. So we started Bona Venture Stables basically for the average guy, average woman. We're a family affair. My wife is the chief administrative officer, chief financial officer, chief mediator. I'm the founder and the chief executive, I guess you would say. Our daughters help us a little bit. So what makes us different and where we can keep our prices still affordable for folks that aren't millionaires is that we don't have any markup and we don't pay any salaries. We do this for the love of the horse, and it allows us to be involved in a half a dozen, 8 horses at a time. Whereas if we were doing it just by ourselves, we'd have 1 or 2 horses.
And I can vouch for, kind of the family feel to the whole organization. I appreciate you invite me to some of your events up here, and I appreciate that because they're always fun. I know some of the folks that are involved, friends with some of the folks, and they have a great time. We talked to a lot of the partnerships up here at Saratoga. It's extra special as well. People love to go to the paddock and certainly love to go out to the winner's circle when that happens. Watch the races with the partners, the big screen down in the bottom floor of the clubhouse. That's a big partnership thing as well. And I assume, partners during this time of year will get out and visit some horses on the backstretch also.
They do. And that's one of the big things that we do. We give stable tours. I think mine's better than NYTHA's, but I'm a little biased. And we do give stable tours. We give stable tours for owners and their families, which is really exciting because when they bring their young children out and they see the horses and they spend some time at the rail watching, it's hard to tell that 10-year-old you're not going to buy into another horse. But we also bring a lot of prospective people out who aren't really sure they want to get involved. They don't know much about it. Just call us. We'll set up a tour in the morning for you. Take you through, show you what's going on in the backside. Most people don't realize there's actually 4 people that take care of one horse. When you think about it, there's a trainer or assistant trainer, there's a groom, there's a hot walker, there's an exercise rider. And these people really care about those horses, and they get bathed better than I take a shower in the morning. So it's really, it's a very intricate business. And once they go through the backside and see what's going on, you really get a feel for what this is all about.
Yeah, and again, I will highly tell you got a great group, and the trainers you're involved with are all top-notch as well. Let's talk a little bit about, because, again, I wanted to have you on, and as I said earlier, I'm sure we'll have you plugged in a little bit later in the meet as well, as you run horses typically throughout the meet. But you got a couple coming up today and then one on Sunday, and let's take a look. I went back and looked at the maiden breaker for Swift Magic. This is going back to January of this year. Swift Magic's going to be the number 7 horse. Subsequently, it's had a few starts. Last time tried the turf and not successful there. Back on the dirt this afternoon. But again, look good in the maiden breaker back in January. What are you expecting this afternoon? Race number 3. It's a state bird allowance non-winners of 1 other than.
Well, what we're looking at is a little bit of a rebound from his last 2 races. He's a bit like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We get some really good races out of him, and then we get a couple clunkers out of him. Last race was a turf race. As you said, he did not run well at all, which surprises because he's got turf beauty. a Candy Ride mare and Good Samaritan as the sire, but he just doesn't seem to like the surface. His best racing has been on the dirt, and we've stretched him out. That was a recommendation of the jockeys saying that give him a little more distance. He's done well at a mile. We'll see how he does at a mile and an eighth.
Yeah, you got some mile races underneath, but they're down at Aqueduct, 1 turn mile. Right. So on the dirt, this will be the first time around 2 turns. And that anytime a horse tries something new, it's always it's an experiment, but it's one that as a bettor worth taking a look at a second time. As you say, a little bit of breeding may play into it, but it's a little bit interesting. I love the turf to dirt move anyway.
Well, it's, it has proven successful for us with other horses. So he seems to like the dirt better than the turf, as I said. And this is a good opportunity. And we're excited about having a horse on the second day of the opening of the meet, which is really special for us.
No question about it. So that's race 3 this afternoon. Then little stakes try coming up on Sunday. You're in the quick call. These are turf sprinters. Which I'll ask you because you're a player as well. As a handicapper, when these turf sprints first came out, I was mystified, wasn't. But now that there's enough of a body of evidence, as it were, now I kind of like the turf sprints.
I agree with you. When they first had them, I didn't like it. I thought it was too short a race. I was frustrated. I was thinking, we're traditionally 6 furlongs with the shortest, and now the 5.5. It's a different type of horse. A lot of people say. I
always say particularly in the turf sprint stakes, they're kind of specialists.
Yes, very much so. I'm a runner myself, and if you think about it, there are 100-meter specialists, 200-meter specialists, and then there's runners like myself that are distance runners. Those are different types of bodies, different types of people. It's the same thing with a horse.
Yeah.
He's a strong, powerful, compact horse with explosive speed, and he actually can close. So I think we might surprise some people.
Ortley Road we're talking about. And again, it's the quick call, the 9th race on Sunday, sprinting on the turf. Where did the name come from?
The name, we purchased this horse as a 2-year-old in the Fasig-Tipton Horses of Racing Age sale last year. It was already named.
Okay. We're going to take a look. I pulled up a replay going back to Gulfstream Park. This is the Roar Stakes back in the middle of May. Ortley Road is going to run second. The 4 Most Handsome wins. Number 5, Ortley runs second. But it's notable. This is coming off a debut win. So a nice second in the second start of the career in stakes company against number 5, Ortley Avenue. You have to be pleased with this effort.
We're pleased with the effort, extremely pleased, actually. As you said, it was only his second race of his career. So we're looking at a horse that's making his 3rd start today. He's still got a lot to learn. In the stakes down at Gulfstream, he got stuck behind a wall of horses coming off that last turn. And we had to wait to get open. And there just wasn't enough ground left for him to win. But, I think we'll see a similar race this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because, again, only the 3rd start of the career, and you guys were ambitious in the 2nd start, and he ran well. And that's the thing about turf sprints. You're often up against it with your positioning. If you break a little bit tardy, you got to work a little bit and whatnot. But with now a couple of races of experience under the belt, looking forward to, again, Ortley Avenue coming up on Sunday. Wanted to, I looked up some of your horses, and I wanted some thoughts also. Sail with the Wind. I pulled up a replay going back a couple of seasons ago because, again, there were some locals, and I remember standing, and everybody was happy with this victory. A Saratoga win, August of 2023. Sail with the Wind is the number 9 horse, and I saw that Sail with the Wind just had a workout just a few days ago right up here. So are we going to look forward to a Saratoga start for Sail with the Wind?
Absolutely. There's something coming up in about 10 days.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date. But, he's had 2 good races since time off. And Katie Davis has actually been riding him. And Katie loves him. So we expect he can win here in the state bred allowance level.
Yeah.
We should see that.
He certainly has nice experience over the track with that maiden breaker. And, I actually remember the day when you guys were talking about him. And he gets out there and gets the job done. And as I say, always fun for a partnership to stand in the winner's circle at Saratoga. And it's always fun to, before we let you go, had to pull it up whenever we have you. And it's always fun to get into the Breeders' Cup and have a horse run well in the Breeders' Cup. We will take a look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf back in 2012. And Bona Venture Stables, Ramon Dominguez on board. My friend Ramon Dominguez on board. Summer of Fun, the number 2 horse, runs third. Flotilla is second. What's the chances run? Flotilla wins. What's the chances run second? But the number 2 Summer of Fun runs third for Bona Venture. This had to be a great feeling.
You know, it's a great feeling when you're a small partnership like we are with only 6 or 7 horses, and you're in the Breeders' Cup and you finish third in a stakes Grade 1 stakes race. That was as good as winning.
Yeah. And, just one of those memories for a partnership and everybody involved at the time that you live on for a long time. And so, again, I didn't want to let you leave without throwing in that memory again. But if people are interested, you're around the track all the time. So people see you at the track, they can certainly come up and introduce themselves and get some more information. But what's the best way to get information?
Well, the best way to get information really is just go to our website. There's a contact number. There's a contact email. It's the easiest to get in touch with us. We'd be happy to meet with you and talk and take you out in the morning.
Very good. There's you can see the website address there. So check that out for more information. And as I say, I can vouch for the fun that the partners have, because I know some of them personally, and just standing and watching you guys root for your, and seeing the group out in the paddock, that's fun too, just to be out there in Saratoga paddock getting ready for a race. Dan, appreciate the visit. As I say, we'll get you plugged in as the meet progresses as well, but I wanted you in here for a kickoff with a horse on day 2. We'll be rooting for Swift Magic this afternoon, and for Ortley Avenue on Sunday. Appreciate the visit. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, in the green room, Howard Kravets and company. We'll talk with Howard about the podcast, get some ideas over the next couple of days, and more. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back. As promised before the break, we are joined by our friend Howard Kravets from the HHH Racing Podcast and one of the podcast colleagues, Patrick Kuenzel, to talk a little podcast. We'll get a little handicapping action as well. Gentlemen, good morning.
How you doing, Seth?
Very
Great to be here. Again, we love coming up to Saratoga. It's our heaven, horse racing heaven.
Yeah. And I saw you come in with the Adelphi group, and you're in some of the Adelphi horses.
Yeah, very proud. Adelphi Racing Club is a proud sponsor of the podcast as well. We are hoping to have Twirling Beauty run in the Coronation Stakes today, race 7. As of now, the race is on the turf. Twirling Beauty is an MTO, so the race would have to come off. But she's fast and out. We actually saw her this morning. She looks like she's rested and ready to go if she runs. If not, she'll run at a different time.
Yeah, we'll get. I said when you drove up, I said we're getting you because last year we couldn't coordinate the schedules, but we'll get the Adelphi guys in here because that's a nice partnership group as well. We just had Dan from Bona Venture. It's always fun up here, the partnership groups. And because you've been in the winner's circle.
I have. The last 2 years, I told Matt Couture, the managing partner.
It's like
Adelphi.
The craziest timing ever. You're only in for a few days, and 2 years in a row you're in.
Well, I was explaining to Patrick, and he'll talk about the podcast and a little bit how hard it is to win up here. I mean, it's very hard to win up here at Saratoga. Everyone knows that. And so I've only been here. I've come once a year the last 2 years. This is the first year where I've been up here twice. I'll come up in August as well. And to get a winner, as you know, is very difficult. And I've just been good luck, or just the horse racing gods have blessed us with victories to be in the winner's circle. Patrick was a part of it last year. It was incredible with a horse named Gentleman 10.
It has been amazing to see you guys. You come to town, winner.
There you go.
You got to like that. Howard, you're from Chicago. Patrick, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay,
Yep.
And give us a little background to how you became a horse racing fan.
Yeah, so it was kind of during the pandemic. I started to get into horse racing, started watching it more. It was really the only thing on in my house at the time, other than, sports were canceled and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was doing, and I just took it and ran with it. Met this guy along the way on social media and watched his show when it first started, and yeah, it's friendship and a huge podcast.
The rest is history, as
they
say.
Exactly.
So you became a horse racing fan on Will Rogers Downs?
Yeah. I would say
it's Bonner Park.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There were 3 tracks running for a while there, and it was Fonner. Wasn't Will Rogers? Or might be right. It was Fonner.
Yep.
But then Gulfstream.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Boy, that was a funky time. There's no
Sure
question
was.
about it. So, Howard, your HHH Racing Podcast, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, Patrick, which of the programs are you involved in?
Yeah, so I'm on Wednesday nights with the show's called Betting and Boozing. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, more times than not. We have a good time with it. The host, Kyle Roscoe, and my co-host with me is Charlie Freeman. Yeah, we have a great time. We cover, a variety of different tracks because we do have a show on Tuesday nights, Pacific Horse Players, that focuses on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we cover a variety of tracks, and we have a great time with it.
How much boozing goes on?
We keep it careful. I have to control our host because he cracks open a couple cold ones and he gets going with it. No, but it's a fun time. It's a cool name for guys our age.
Yeah.
So yeah, we enjoy it.
Howard's a big contest player. You? Has he pulled you in yet?
They're trying to pull me into it. I do need to get into it more. I'm starting to learn how he likes to go about his contest plays, and it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to getting into more.
Well, I may interject. We're going to be playing in the NYTHA contest that they have on Saturdays that I've had some success with, and it's going to be Patrick's first NYTHA contest that he's playing in. So he will have an entry. Look out if you see Patrick Kuenzel on the leaderboard Saturday. All those who like to play the NYTHA Bets contest here. But, yeah.
And you're being modest because it was within the past 2 months. You won it 2 weeks in a row, right?
I did. I've been fortunate. I finished fourth in 2 weeks after that. So I had a nice little run. There's very good players in there, obviously. And, for those of you not familiar, it's a $300 buy-in. $200 is live money, $100 of the prize pool. So it's very affordable in general as contests go. And it's a great contest to do. But if I may say something about Patrick real quick.
Go for it.
One of the things that I want to emphasize with the HHH Racing Podcast is to bring younger people into this game. We've talked about it all the time. And Patrick is the perfect example of a guy in his 20s, like all the other guys on Bet and Booze. And I have 6 right now, 6 young guys in their 20s. They're all excellent handicappers that love the game. And I've always felt it's very important to grow the game. Patrick's a perfect example of a guy who was not really into horse racing until like the last 5 or 6 years, and now puts his hardworking dollars into the game, not only through gambling, but other avenues.
Yeah.
And he does just a fantastic job. And he's a really respectful young man as well, of course, and has turned into an excellent handicapper. So I'm just really proud of Patrick and all these young guys for coming onto the show and learning about the game, because as we all know, it's pretty hard to handicap horse racing.
So betting and boozing, is it preview or preview and review? And are there circuits you concentrate on, or you just, there's a big weekend over here, we'll look at that? How's it work?
Yeah, we go to all different tracks. So if it's a big weekend, we'll cover the late pick 5, specific stake races, and we'll give our best bets in within that sequence that we normally cover. But yeah, it's just a variety of different tracks, different betting styles. And that's what kind of makes it so much fun is, we don't have to focus on one track every week.
Yeah,
so you get to see different, different tracks and, just different angles of, what we like to bet and stuff like that.
I tell people too, and I'll see if you agree. Everybody has their favorite circuit. For me, obviously, it's New York racing this time of year at Saratoga. But because of what I do, I have to get out of the comfort zone every once in a while because I'm handicapping for OTB TV during the week all year long, and New York isn't always racing. And I always say that I think it improves your handicapping when you do get out of the comfort zone and move to some other tracks, because you get used to, hey, this trainer I'm going to latch onto, this jockey I'm going to latch onto. And if you move to the circuits you're not as familiar with, I think you have to get back to the basics a little bit. So I think, kind of looking around the different tracks helps your handicapping overall.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that. And I think that's what's cool too, is that Charlie, who's on Betting and Boozing with us, he loves Gulfstream Park. And, he's able to kind of give us feedback, during the season when they're racing now, So I'm focused up here and just wanting to know what's going on up here with racing. That's what, makes it cool. You just get to travel to different tracks, see different riders and things like that, and that's definitely, I agree with you.
Well, I'm learning Tapeta because I know some people don't like betting synthetic. New York racing fans better get used to it because New Belmont's going to have the Tapeta surface, and I actually like the synthetic. It's just like any other surface. There's certain angles that you can glean from. So it's great that these guys get to look at different jockeys and different trainers as well. Other than the ones you're
like I say, I think it improves your handicapping, as does contest play. I tell people that because you have to change and maybe look for some value, some particularly the pick and pray kind of contests. I know you prefer the live money, which I totally get, but you do well in both. NHC, you're out there. Have you qualified for both?
I've not qualified for the NHC yet. To be honest, I haven't really tried as hard as I have in the past. It's not until, of course, March next year. So I, usually after the Saratoga meet, fall and winter, I start concentrating. Every year I've tried to qualify. The last 3 years I have, so hopefully we'll make it year number 4. I'm trying to get this guy to be interested in trying to qualify and go out to Vegas. He's never been to Las Vegas, it's a good time out there.
We went out and covered the contest a couple times. Now I'm trying to get out there as a player. Yeah, you got to get out. It's like the Horse Players Convention. You can't beat it. No question about it. And just before we wrap up this segment, we'll come back and do a little handicapping. But Howard, I want to let you expound a little more on the HHH Racing Podcast. I say it whenever I have you on the show. When I sit home at night and handicap, I typically have YouTube up in the background, and I'll listen to you guys a lot. So talk a little bit about the podcast, and Pete and Paul, your co-hosts, and when can people find that?
Yeah, I'm very proud of the podcast. We're going on 4.5 years, starting January 21. The Ben and Boozin show that Patrick co-hosts, like he said, is on YouTube on Wednesdays. We have shows Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday nights. Thursday night is our flagship show with myself, Pete and Paul, called Picks and Ponies. The times differ, but usually Wednesdays and Thursdays, usually 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays is usually 9:30 Eastern. That's a focus on West Coast racing. And then our newest thing that we have going on right now, we're very excited about. We just started something called Weekend Warriors stuff, which is a live show, live racing on Saturdays. So we go approximately 4 to 6:30. Just go to our YouTube channel. Just go to the search bar, type in HHH Racing Podcast, and we have live racing from Monmouth and Woodbine with the video. And then we do play the audio here. Obviously, we do copyright in Fox. We can't show the races on our YouTube channel, but we do have the audio of it. And we talk through the pick 5. So tomorrow we'll talk about the Bowling Green and the Diana, of course. So check out our live show on Saturdays afternoons, 4 to 6:30, called Weekend Warriors. We had over 6,000 people watching it a few weeks ago when I was actually live at Churchill for Stephen Foster Day. And so we have people throughout I'm going to be here this weekend, next weekend for the Haskell, and someone there with live coverage. So yeah, people enjoy those live shows.
Yeah, great. And also, just want to let you tout also the Power Picks. I get the Power Picks every week. You guys do a great job there. So give a little shout out to the Power Picks.
Yeah, we have something called Power Pick Tip Sheets. And as Patrick knows, we have them for Saratoga only on Friday through Sunday. We also have Delamar. You can see them on the screen there. We have Delamar only Power Pick Tip Sheets for their meet. And then we have our standard traditional Power Picks, which comes on Saturdays only, covers 2 or 3 tracks, price plays, spot plays. I'm an ABC ticket maker player, for those who are familiar with that, construction, and we talk about usually late pick 5s at a few different tracks. So all that's available on our website. You can see on the screen there, hhhracingpodcast.com. You can go to our website and look under the Power Pick Tip Sheet tab. You are a proud owner of our Power Pick Tip Sheets and get those every week, and they've been growing. And we look for value, and we're going to talk about that in the second half of the segment. On tomorrow, I think I have some horses at prices that are going to be interesting.
Yeah, Power Picks are worth it. There's a lot of great information there, typically. Patrick, before we let you go, again, tout the betting and boozing. When can people find that?
Yeah, Wednesday nights, usually 8 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes that'll fluctuate. But yeah, we have a great time with it, and we're very interactive within the chat and stuff like that, which is awesome. We're able to, people can give their opinions, ask us questions. We have a great time, like I said. But I really appreciate you having me on, Seth.
Oh, I appreciate you stopping by. But we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to do a little handicapping right after this. And again, a little bit later on, Rick Schosberg will join us. We're going to talk New York Aftercare Day coming up here next week. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back again, Howard Kravets from the HHH Racing Podcast. And again, remind people if they want to tune in for the live tomorrow. When is that?
Yeah, Saturday live show, 4 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking Saratoga live as the races go on, and also Monmouth and Woodbine as well.
Yeah, next time we come in, we'll do a little more contest conversation as well because, as I say, you're a big contest player. I would love to get out to Vegas. Last year I came that close and I just don't get to play enough of those contests. But it's definitely worth it. Again, and I heard whispers that the Low Rollers is coming back up here.
Oh, really?
Oh, and I highly recommend. And I highly recommend it enough that when I go over to enter, there are typically people like, oh, I'm trying it today. But again, you think a little bit differently. You're searching for value. So
that's what $40 or $50 entry, right?
It's $40. 10 goes into the prize pool. You get $30, and you have to make 5 win-play show bets during the day.
Fantastic.
So, but again, you're looking for value or handicapping a little bit differently. But as I say, it hasn't been totally confirmed. But I think in a couple of weeks we can look forward to return. All right, Howard. Let's maybe go through tomorrow's late pick 5. It's going to kick off with the Bowling Green, a grade 2 event, 1 3/8 on the turf. I have Firebridge on top, as I think a lot of people will. I think Corruption is interesting, but I pulled up a replay. If I'm, sprinting in a horizontal, I'm going to use Web Slinger for Mark Cassie, and I pulled up the replay of the Eclipse, which was the seasonal debut for Web Slinger. Web Slinger in here is going to be the number 7 horse, running second behind Classic Motown. But given it's a seasonal debut, I think the second place finish sets Web Slinger up nicely. So 7, 8, 5, 6 for me. But what did you see in the Bowling Green?
Yeah, Web Slinger ran very well. You see here him making a big close on the outside. Yeah. That's a perfect prep for this race. I have a horse that I'm very interested in, and I watched our Thursday show last night because I was traveling. So I had Pete Visco and Ryan Anderson, one of our younger guys, actually did the show. And I didn't talk to them at all about their picks or what we were going to do. They happen to have the same horse on top in this race as I do, Seth. And the horse is 8-1 morning line. I am very, very interested in number 2, Alvazine for Pletcher, tomorrow in the Bowling Green. This is one of my plays of the day. I love progressive 4-year-old Seth. It's just an angle that I really enjoy betting and watching. I don't know if we're getting 8-1 tomorrow. This horse is second off the layoff, ran the distance last year, ran against some very good horses, ran here at Saratoga. That last race was just a prep, went into a fast pace, lost to a horse named Hershey, who came back and won. That was a very good race, got a good number at Churchill. I expect him to be mid-pack and move forward big time in his buyer numbers or time form, whatever, those of you at home like to read or study in terms of the pace figs. Al Razine, the number 2 in the Bowling Green. I'm hoping to get 5 or 6-1. That'll be a big play for me tomorrow. Firebridge is obviously the horse to beat. At some point, Seth, he's not going to get a rail trip, right? He wants to be on the rail, and he's been brilliantly ridden, but at some point, he's not going to get a fantastic trip. And I have a feeling it might happen tomorrow. So I'm going to go with Al Razine. I'm going 2-7-5, Web Slinger in 3rd.
I like it. 9th race tomorrow. Again, scheduled for the grass. We'll keep our fingers crossed. I mean, it was a crazy, freakish thing yesterday. Today, it's a nice day today. So hopefully we'll be back on tomorrow. And the 9th race scheduled for the grass, allowance non-winners are 1 other than. I'm 10-11, the 1 entry, and 9. I thought Common Defense was a little bit interesting. Trying the turf for Ken McPeak. Hasn't been seen in a long time. I might be up against it. But I thought, it's Ken McPeak. They're doing a little something out of the box, bullet workout. I went in that direction. What did you see in the 9th?
I agree. We've got the tractors behind us. Typical Saratoga. There's always something going on here at Saratoga. I thought Common Defense was interesting. I'm using him as a B horse, which means semi-defensively. I think he's interesting. I'm going 3-5-9. I'm really interested to see how number 3, Taraj, runs here for Mott and Alvarado. I love that combination. We all know why. This horse is off a long layoff, but faced some very good horses in Europe last year, including one of the better 3-year-olds in Europe right now named Los Angeles. So Taraj was in some very tough spots last year. If he's ready, I think he's got a big shot. The horse I'm interested in price is number 5, Gilded Kraken at 12-1 for Jose Ortiz and Joe Sharp. There's not a lot of early speed in this race at all. I don't know if he classes up. I'm not sure if he gets the 1 1/8, but on paper, Jose Ortiz loose with a double-digit horse and a pun intended sharp guy like Joe Sharp. The 5 I'm very interested in. I'm going 3-5-9 in a very tough allowance race tomorrow.
I was over at the harness track the other night after I left here Saturday. I was driving by, saw the lights were on. I remembered, during the meet they got the Saturday. So I did a little brief doubleheader and watched a couple of races. And one of them I was watching for a couple of owners who had their horse in the lead mid-stretch and it just got caught, but they were really rooting. It was Joe Sharp and Jose Ortiz who claimed a harness horse.
There you go.
They're gonna, I assume, over there, probably every week they'll get a run. All right, the 10th tomorrow, optional claimer with the C condition, 7 furlongs of the trip. I pulled up a replay here going back to the Saratoga meet on June 7th. We're going to look at General Partner getting it done. General Partner is going to be the number 9 horse in here. I thought of that effort, the Chad Brown Kravets runner was interesting. Flavian Prad was going very well, obviously, after yesterday's start to the day. So for me, it was 4, 10, 7, and 2. How did you see the 10th?
I think the 10th race tomorrow, Saturday, here at Saratoga, is the toughest race of the day. It is an absolute scramble. It's what makes Saratoga, right? You got, 11 horses in the field. You have nice horses coming off layoffs. You got General Partner. I mean, it is very difficult. I'm going 7, 5, 6. I've always been a fan of the number 7 Luminaire, 8-1 for size and Pletcher. This horse showed some serious ability last year, and I have no doubts that Pletcher has this one ready. He's going to have to run well. He's going to have to break. He's been a little bit immature in some of his races, but I'm hoping with improvement as a year older, Saez, hope he breaks aggressively. I think he can sit just outside the speed. I think he had a number last year, if I recall, a 96 buyer at one point. I know you got the PPs in front of you. If he's ready to go, I think this is a seriously talented horse. General Partner, 98, yeah. General Partner, the number 4, is going to be tough. I mean, Scotland's run some nice races, the 5. Lightman is very interesting, the number 6 at 10-1, who I have in third, who, if you look at the time form U.S. numbers, which I really enjoy Craig Malkowski's work, that I follow that a little more than Byers these days, to be honest. The Byers, he's a little bit light, but by the time form numbers, he absolutely fits. I'm talking about Lightman, the number 6. So very tough race. I would spread as much as possible in the pick 5 for those that are playing that.
Yeah, Luminaire Centennial Farms. They had Don Little on last Saturday morning. Saturday after, or it's Friday, I guess, with Suburban. Boy, Antiquarian. Ooh, just that was a rough beat.
Don't. That's 2 races in a row where he lost ground on the far turn and came like a banshee late, just didn't quite get there.
11th tomorrow is the feature, the Duncan Diana. Who knew? The Grade 1 event, $500,000 up for grabs, 1 mile and an 8. I pulled up a replay here because yesterday I showed She Feels Pretty already, and I have that one on top. But I said when I handicapped yesterday, I had Dave Krennigan here, I said, I think dynamic pricing is right in the same boat. And so I pulled up the replay of the Just a Game. Dynamic pricing is the number 1 horse. And to me, these two are very evenly matched. 1, 5, 4, and 2 for me. What did you see in the Diana?
This is a fantastic race.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish there were more horses in the race. But, look, if you want a 6-horse field of older fillies and mares, this is it. Dynamic Price, see Excellent Truth, by the way, on the outside is the 8. So they're next to each other. Excellent Truth is also running today. I thought Dynamic Pricing was absolutely fantastic for Kravets here. Excellent Truth was right there. I don't know if Excellent Truth wants the softer ground. It was pretty soft that day. Yeah. I know this is a European-bred horse who's running in Europe, but a lot of times Chad buys and brings his horses over for firmer turf, right? I'm going 1, 4, 5. I think this is She Feels Pretty by far her toughest test. Even money, I would never bet her even money on the win end ever. And she's going to be low. This is a very tough field. I have a sneaky feeling Excellent Truth, who was the 8 in that replay, is run a huge race. And Seth, when Chad's got 2, okay, we always talked about this. I know Excellent Truth is lower in the morning line, but Excellent Truth, the number 4, has not won a grade stake in the United States. And if you go back, it's very interesting how when Chad has more than 1 in the race in these grade stakes, the one that has not earned that grade stake somehow seems to pop up and win. I think Excellent Truth's going to appreciate the firmer turf. I think he's going to get a great ride. And if I had to choose someone other than She Feels Pretty, I'm going to go with Excellent Truth. But I mean, the number 2, Schwazi, is a really nice horse. Dynamic pricing. Be Your Best is going to show speed. It's a fantastic race. My main take is I would not bet She Feels Pretty at a low price in the Diana tomorrow.
Yeah, well, as I say, that one and dynamic pricing to me are right in the same boat. So, yeah. And just quickly, let's take a look at the finale, the 12th tomorrow. Maiden Special is going to quick 5.5 on the turf. I thought She Wants Wards, Wesley Ward sprinting on the turf off a couple of okay efforts that I think the horse can build on. Gellhorn is also interesting for Danny Carrigan. I was 4, 9, 10, and 6.
I'm going 3, 4, 9. I just want to be clear to everyone listening and watching. I do not have any secret intel on number 3, My Divine Spirit. This is Chad and Flavian, and Chad can do well in sprinting as well as 2 turns as well first time out. His numbers are better 2 turns than sprinting. based on the breeding, the way this horse is working, the fact that Flavian stays on for the last race of the day, I just have a sneaky suspicion that the number 3, My Divine Spirit, is a serious animal. I will know by the board. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think up here, especially with firsters, the board really tells.
I always say I don't mind if a lot of people are like, oh, mine's dead on the board. If I have a first-time starter, I'm okay with that. What makes a huge difference to me is you got a 8-1 shot on the morning line, and you'll look up and it's 4-5. Then it's like, okay, there's a whisper going out.
I mean, this horse is 7. Absolutely, this horse is 7-2 morning line. Actually, we saw a turf sprinter yesterday that scratched the 4, scratched out that turf sprint yesterday, and was clicking down until that horse was scratched. If this horse is 7-2, 4-1, I will be much less interested. But if My Divine Spirit in the last race Saturday is like 2-1, 5-2, 9-5, look out. I'm not in love with a lot of horses that have run this race already. I'm just very curious to see how My Divine Spirit runs. But the number 4 can win, and the 9's interesting as well.
All right, so there's a look at tomorrow's pick 5. Howard, we really appreciate it. And again, I will tell people to stop by YouTube. And again, as Howard said, you click in HHH Racing in the search engine. You'll find all of their work there, as well as visit their website. The Power Pick's always a great deal. And we will plug you in when you come back. And I'm assuming Paul was here the other day. I had Paul on and I've made some picks in a segment I did for the Belmont Stakes. But I assume Paul and Pete are going to be in?
Pete will not be. Paul's going to be up here again because he writes for the Saratoga Special. Great job. 25th anniversary, I believe, right? Congratulations to the Clancy's and everyone. But Paul will not be up here when I'm up here in August.
Okay.
Our schedules don't align well, but Paul will be up here. And he's got a book coming out, one of my co-hosts, Paul Halloran. He's got a book coming out in the spring about Cody's Wish. We can't wait for it. He's been working very hard at it. We're really proud of Paul, and Pete does a great job.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you back when you return and talk a little bit more. As I say, we'll do a little contest talk. But appreciate the thoughts. Good luck on the weekend.
Thank you. Subscribe to the HHH Racing Podcast on YouTube and hit that notification bell so that you know when our new shows pop up. Thanks again, Seth. Really
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, Rick Schosberg in the green room. New York Aftercare Day coming up next week. We'll talk about that and more. Stay tuned. It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your number one choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bona Venture Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bona Venture Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bona Venture Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back. As promised before the break, it's our friend Rick Schosberg. We'll talk some New York Aftercare Day. Again, New York Aftercare has become such an important issue in the game over the last few years, and NYTHA has done a great job promoting that and raising awareness, and that will happen next week. Rick, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. It's great to be here.
Happy to have you here and have you on board. And we were talking about the storm, and you said you were in town last night when it happened at an event. And you said some of the driving, you were running through standing water.
It hit really hard. Yeah, we were at a real nice event. As a matter of fact, for an aftercare organization's new locations, we had a little event for them, a fundraiser over on East Avenue. And everything was set up outside, and lobsters and the clam bake and the whole thing. And it hit out of the blue. And everybody survived, but we got awfully wet. But driving home, there was a bit of a flood back here on Jefferson, and a lot of limbs down. I could see in the middle of Clare Court here, they'd had a little bit of limb damage and stuff. But it was here and out, and made its presence felt.
Yeah, it was freakish because, as I say, I'm over in Boston Spa. I saw none of it. It was crazy. All right, looking at the NYTHA website, and if people want to check that out, certainly you can go there. You can find more information just on the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen as well, but aftercare and whatnot. You're listed as the chair of the aftercare section of the board. Talk a little bit about, New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, when and how Thoroughbred Aftercare kind of became a focus. And again, it has really for the whole industry, and NYTHA has kind of been right at the forefront of that.
Yeah, we've taken the lead, to coin a phrase. Rick Violet, back around the time the TAA was being formed, and he was one of the founding members of the TAA board. He had the foresight to see that we needed to have a systemic program by which we can transition horses off the racetrack into accredited organizations for rehabilitation, retraining, and rehoming. And I came on the board in 2011, so the timing for me was good because he was working on so many things, including workman's comp and other legislative issues up here in New York. And as a newcomer to the board, and we had just started a new aftercare committee, he asked me if I would chair it, and we would work together with Andy Belfiore, who was our executive director, and back with us now with NYTHA, and she's been our executive director for the Take Two and Take the Lead program ever since its inception, and she really helped write the blueprint for the program. So we have transitioned over 1,400 horses since its inception. Last year we did over 150. The year before was close to 170. This year we're on a pretty good run to eclipse those numbers. And the horsemen are really, they know that we're here for them, and that we take the onus off of them. And our budget is basically from the New York industry. Through per start fees, the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, we get a percentage of their budget, and it's for our aftercare programs, our Take Two and the Take the Lead program, and then the claiming assessment, which went in back in 2019, by which we get 60% of that, and then the TAA gets 40% of that, and we're still claiming upwards of $25 million worth of horses. So that has a real substantial effect positively on our budget, and we spend every penny of it goes to the horses. I mean, there's not a member of our team that actually works for a salary, so we all do it at for free, and basically the only administrative fees are just office stuff.
Yeah, it's great, and you do great work. And Rick,
it's a great team, and a lot of networking with van companies and the veterinarians, and of course, what we're showcasing here next Thursday on the 17th is the aftercare organizations here in the region, and we've got a great list of organizations this year. Act Naturally, which is Valerie Buck's organization up north, and just a unique therapeutic situation where the horses help, helping horses helping humans.
Yeah.
And therapeutic horses of Saratoga, New Vocations up here in New York with Amanda Vance, of course, TRF, the original thoroughbred retirement program in the country, Equine Advocates, Rerun, Lisa Malloy down in East Greenbush. She does 55% of our retirees, and she's amazing. She has such great networking with regards to adopting these horses out to well-screened forever homes and old friends, Cabin Creek. You know, Joanne Pepper does such a wonderful job. I was just there the other day. Lucky
They just
Orphans.
made news with the passing of
Commentator. And there'll be some news with some other horses coming in soon. Lucky Orphans down near Millbrook in Dover Plains. Deanna Hearn does a wonderful job there. Again, very unique. A lot of educational programs for the surrounding areas. She's on the cutting edge of all the municipal goings on and free lands, green space and things like that. So she's and just a terrific organization there. And then Second Chance is coming this year from out west, and Colette Detty's going to bring some horses in for some of our demonstrations, which are before and after the first race on Thursday.
Therapeutic horses as well.
Therapeutic, yep. Number 2 on the list.
Yeah,
Therapeutic horses of Saratoga, absolutely. Yep.
Because I've had obviously
Aaron,
Kim in, and I've had
Yep.
Val Buck in, and
Yep.
Joanne Pepper from old friends. I've had them in over the years because again, it's become a part of the a focus of the industry,
Absolutely.
as it should be, and it's great to talk to those people and some of those organizations like Old Friends. There's some community involvement as well. You can go and visit the horses.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's all volunteer work.
Yeah,
you know, it's time that we showcase the boots on the ground, the people that are actually doing the work. You know, we're a transitional facilitating organization, and we do the backdrop work here on the racetrack, and we gather up all the information and do videos and x-rays and everything. But when the horses get there, first of all, they know exactly what they're getting because we've gathered the information. But then the hard work starts, the rehabilitation, or sometimes there's really no rehabilitation involved. I will say this: we've trended. Andy and I go over this about every quarter. About the horses that are just non-competitive, the S&S horses, we call them, sound and slow. And we've trended since 2019 from about 19% to over 26%. So we're trending in the right way. And there's a lot of different factors that are involved. I think the HISA situation has made it so that horses can be retired maybe a work early or maybe a race early, so that for us, we can retire those horses and less time for rehabilitation, less time for them to be adopted out, and then we can move the next horse in because we always have a waiting list. So I think a lot of things, you know, it's really taken off. It's in, you know, nationwide. The TAA has always been at the forefront. And I work with them. I timed out on their board. I did 5 years, so I got a timeout, but I'm on 3 of their committees, so they just keep pulling me back in.
The old Godfather, too.
So, yeah, so with that, and then all the work at the University of Cornell, I work with Cornell with the ZOI committee, so we're doing on health and welfare things for racehorses, you know, everything from vaccinations to, you know, to injuries, soft and tissue or early pregnancy issues. So, you know, I'm retired from racing, but the grass has not grown under my feet very much. I had my family had some family issues. My mom was very sick for a couple of years and passed away in March. And we're working on getting the estate and everything buttoned up. And so I wouldn't have had the time to do what I had to do and still train a string of racehorses up here.
I'd say we miss you, but you're here all the time.
Yeah,
Do you miss it?
I don't necessarily miss the training, and there's a lot more to it now.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you have more than 10 horses, you need an office manager with all the protocols you have to go through. And I was, you know, part of the HISA, the original HISA advisory committee. So I saw it coming. I just don't know if I would have had the time or resources to be able to do that. So do I miss training? No, but if I miss horses, I can always come in and, you know, it's like your friend that has a boat. You get to ride on their boat, and then you get to go home, or the grandkids come. And so I get to come in, I get to see horses. I work with all the horsemen, but then I can go home and not worry about paying the blacksmith, worry about paying the vet, or worry about chasing money around. So, you know, there's parts of it that I do miss, but there's parts of it that are in the rearview mirror.
And I'm glad you said it because I was going to mention it. If owners, trainers are out there and it's in the back of your mind, you guys are sitting here, the NYTHA, and do it. Make the decision to work early or race early. Don't hang on too late because that helps everybody out, especially the thoroughbred.
Especially the horse. It's a health and welfare issue for the horse. It's a health and fiscal issue for the owner as well. And with all the enhanced inspections and new protocols, if a horse has an issue and has to work its way back to the racing, it's an extended period of time right now, and that's resources that maybe could have gone to a horse that was younger, and so we're getting some of that, and I think that's helped us trend forward, and it's helped the horses and it's helped the organization, the ones that you're going to see here next week. They get sounder horses. Now, sure, there are injuries, and we work with that. There's no doubt about it. And our surgeons and our veterinarians have done a wonderful job. But like I said, we're up 7 points in a short period of time, and we're trending in the right way. Good. And a lot of it has to do with education, and also the fact that their resources can maybe be put into another horse that may be looking for that a spot here at the racetrack, and so they call us and we just take care of it. Once they call us, we take care of everything. Excellent. All the paperwork's done, all the diagnostics are gathered, all the van work, the logistics of moving the horse, and it's just we just let and then they've been wonderful about making their own personal donations to the organizations that take them. And then of course every horse that goes through our program goes with a significant amount of resources from the Take the Lead program to aid in their rehabilitation and retraining.
You've got the Take the Lead program, Take Two program. Folks, I assume on Thursday can learn more about those, but learn certainly more about the organization you mentioned. And you mentioned there are some, volunteers mainly running this. And if you're thinking in the back of your mind, hey, maybe I'd be interested in that, show up Thursday. Well, all the organizations cycle through the community booth?
Yes. Well, they'll be in the community booth at certain times during the day. They'll have races named after them. And during the warm-up of the race, you're going to have our announcer is going to have a little bit of information to give out.
Excellent.
And we're going to have some ground demonstrations before the first race, and then we're going to do the polo game, which we did last year again, which was wonderful last year. It was so much fun to watch these ex-race horses.
Yeah. Some
of them had just been retired off the track within the last 90 days, out there playing polo on the racetrack. So it was really delightful. And then to see a 5-year-old kid going out there and doing some dressage work on a horse that had just retired like a month and a half before. It really gives the average fan something to have comfort that we are doing the right thing for these horses when they're done. And we've talked about it before. They race for 3-4 years. They live for 24 years.
Yeah.
I was just up at Joanne Pepper's. There's a horse that's 30. So it's a daunting responsibility, and the responsibilities for the industry. Everybody that's part of this industry has a responsibility.
And fans are part of the industry too.
Absolutely.
If you want to be involved and donate or learn more, coming up next Thursday here at the racetrack, a week from yesterday. Come on up for Aftercare Day. Highly recommended to learn more about some of these organizations. As I say, I cycle in a lot of the folks during the season as well, so we'll talk more about some of those, but you can go on Thursday and learn firsthand about some of these organizations. Donate if you want to, or find out about the possibility of volunteering, if that sounds a little bit interesting. And one of the interesting things as well that you added last year, the Down Broadway Award, which goes to a retired honoree. There was a voting process a little bit earlier, and Down Broadway was one of your horses. So he
was my horse. He was one of our horses we trained for ELR Stable, and he was the first horse to go through the Take the Lead program. It just so happens that it was our horse, so we jump-started the program, and we're almost to we're over 1,500 horses later. But yeah, it's really great, and the fans get to vote, and I'm not going to disclose. I think there's a winner, but I'm not I'm not sure. I'm not privy to that information until we have to walk them up into the winner's circle.
So that'll be part of the
Thursday.
day as well. And that was just a fun addition, I think, to the whole thing.
Yep.
And Rick, before we let you go,
Yep.
again, longtime New York fixture, and couldn't let you go without remembering the training career a little bit. So I pulled up a replay going back to 2002. We're going to look at a Grade 1 win here, the Carter Handicap, with a firm success. And, just remember this race a little bit. And, boy, what a career for a firm success.
Well,
42 starts, 17 wins, $2+ million. And here we see a Grade 1 win.
And he's 8 years old.
I was going to mention this.
He had just won the toboggan. And here he is with Richie Migliori. We were all kind of a little long in the tooth, including older firm success for this race, but it was so exciting. I talked to Richie about it all the time, and he rode him, the last part of his career. He came back the following year at 9 and won the toboggan again. And then I think he ended up 4th in the Carter, and then we retired him, and he started out at the Kentucky Horse Park. We retired him. And then ended up at Old Friends.
Oh, okay.
And he passed away a couple of years back, had a wonderful life, just an incredible horse, a career horse. I mean, he didn't win an Eclipse Award because he was a tweener. He could run a mile on the turf and win a graded stake. He could win at 7 furlongs, but at 6 furlongs, Kelly Kipp always had his number. So we didn't win the Eclipse Award, but he was runner-up in 98. We did win it with Maria's Mon, prior to that as a 2-year-old. That was a whole different story there, of which I love to talk about, because it was me and Wayne Lucas vying for an Eclipse Award, and I was a 30-year-old trainer going up against the team.
Yeah.
And he was wonderful. He was wonderful during the entire campaign. He called me up in the morning and talked about, he said, my horse had been injured prior to the Breeders' Cup, so certain things had to happen for us to win, or if Hennessy had won, he had won. And he said, just keep campaigning for your horse. He's a wonderful horse, and we'll see how the chips fall. But good. And it was like, I don't know, at 4:30 in the morning. Of course, he was at the barn, and I was still having my coffee, so that embarrassed me a little bit. But anyway, just a little story about that. But also, let's not forget about the Jocks versus the Horsemen basketball game with the chaplain's office and the best team and everybody sponsoring that, which is August 3rd. And I will have a new assistant coach this year.
Okay.
My 2 coaches have retired, Todd and Kieran, and I'll stay on. And I have a new coach this year with Kenny McPeak.
All right.
And he's got a little bit of an athletic background, and so do I. And we're going to work together. And we've been recruiting from all corners of the world.
All right.
Yeah.
It's always a lot of fun.
They got us last year. We were down by 10. I think they won by a point. We came back hard on them, but these Jocks, believe me, Manny's a baller, Cotto, and the Ortiz brothers. Let me tell you. And, of course, they always get an NBA player that's about 6'9" and wants to run over everybody. But this year, I think we're going to put together a pretty good team. So we're going to give them a pretty good run. We won it like 3 years in a row, and then they beat us, I think, 3 years in a row. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to that. That's at the rec center here in town.
It's right down the street, and it's worth
Vanderbilt.
a visit if you've never done it before. Benefits the chaplaincy, and I played for 3 years. I think I finally scored a basket, and I retired.
Yeah, well, you were smart, because I didn't. And last year I ended up rolling on my head, and they finally picked me up and said, Rick, player coach, we'll just put a slash through the player part and let the kids play.
We'll probably get Umberto, and we usually get him in the week of the event and remind people about that. But mark it on your calendar. Rick, really appreciate it. Again, tell people to stop by Thoroughbred Aftercare Day next Thursday. But we appreciate the visit.
All right, it's great to be with you, Seth.
Rick Schosberg, again, from NYTHA and New York Aftercare Day coming up next Thursday. All right, we'll wrap it up. Nice Friday. Again, a little overcast, but it's a nice day. So don't let yesterday's crazy weather fool you, because it's going to be a fun Friday afternoon. So if you're coming up, we'd love to see you. Otherwise, tomorrow morning we'll see you 9 a.m. for the Handicappers Report and 10 a.m. for Racing Across America. So see you then.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care.
And here's the ball from the
Now the sport of thoroughbred racing is combining those timeless traditions with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards of equine safety to the highest level. Wearable biometric devices measure subtle changes in a horse's stride to help optimize safety and performance. State-of-the-art imaging technology helps pinpoint areas of potential concern for early intervention by expert veterinarians. And the sport's new independent regulator, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, is using AI and enhanced data modeling to help prevent injury.
Opening quarter mile was a quick one.
From sunrise to sunset, there's an ecosystem of trust and care and a commitment to well-being. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.